It's intermission time. It's great to get out to the movies.
Hi, this is Megan Braun, the host of Intermission, and today we have Josh Ruben. Josh, it's your turn to intro yourself.
Hi, I'm here, and I'm Josh Ruben, and I'm here with Megan.
And Josh, how would you describe yourself to the listener, what you do?
Oh my gosh, a filmmaker, a noisemaker, a comedian sometimes, a genre lover, a horror boy. Yeah, just a real person about town, I guess.
I'm excited to chat with you today. I just finished your film today.
No
I
way.
watched it this afternoon.
Oh my God, did you think it was a disaster or wonderful?
It
or somewhere in
tanked.
between?
I'm just kidding.
It just was a total tank. Just a straight to Redbox exclusive. Just a total mess.
No, I have a whole section dedicated to it, but before we even get into that, I just want to, we always do kind of get to know you through your film taste.
Amazing.
But my first question I will ask you, that I ask every guest that comes on the show, that can be a little tricky to answer, is if you were to pick a film that describes your life right now, what would it be?
I almost said
And, like-
Nightbreed because that's my favorite. It's just like just me and all my monster buddies just hanging out in in Midian.
As
Is
one
that
does.
the name of the town? The little cemetery town they all hung out in. A movie right now to describe my life. It's been a real head spinner.
I don't even know if I, just given the context you gave me before this, I don't know how I would answer if I were you.
I think Synecdoche, New York. I think a
love
little
that
bit of
movie.
Phil Hoffman trying to just, make his art, but there's been some setbacks.
Yeah.
But it's still like, no, it's all good, dude. You don't have to be so dour.
Yeah.
It's really not that bad. But I just think that I don't know. I
like that answer.
heard a podcast about it recently, and I was like, oh yeah, Synecdoche.
That is a movie that after I watched it, went on YouTube and typed the word Synecdoche to figure out how to pronounce it because I didn't know how to say that word. And, when you read something so often that you've come up with a way to say it in your head.
Oh, yeah,
So
sure.
I just I can't even recall what I thought it was now because it's ingrained that it was incorrect.
Yeah.
But that was a tongue twister for me. That
Yeah,
title.
it's like Father John Misty's new album. I just stared at the billboard and I was like, Mahashmana?
What is it actually?
I think it's like Mahashmana or something.
Oh,
And I
okay.
was just
That's very on brand for him.
It's very on brand, very long haired of him. And I was just like, I just couldn't figure out, it was just, yeah.
Oh, man. Is the billboard on Sunset?
Definitely.
That's
West
where I get
Sunset
all
even.
my information of what's out, what's hip.
Yes,
what's
exactly.
new.
It's just like you just know the guy from American Apparel just ripped up that boulevard for a long time, and now it's a lot of Father John, a lot of new Apple products. Yeah.
It's funny because I've only been in LA for 2 years.
Oh,
And
where
in
from?
I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from San
Okay.
Jose, but I was living in San Francisco. And San Francisco, our billboards are completely different. It's all tech companies and AI and
Rivian.
Yeah, and
Does that count? No, I don't
it's it's just funny living here now because I'm like, oh, these billboards, I'm actually very appreciative of them.
Yeah,
It's a lot
yeah.
more interesting to look
Yeah,
at.
yeah. It's not like Palantir Technologies. It's like, ooh, the all new, I don't know.
I will say that there's
Misty
more
album.
billboards here though. I have one directly outside my bedroom window, and it's one of those car accident,
Oh God! Just a strange lawyer just staring into your room. Yeah, like the Great Gatsby sign.
Exactly.
Wow!
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay, so we're gonna backtrack all the way.
Okay.
When you were a kid, what kinds of films did you grow up watching? And did you grow up in a house that watched films together?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
were big. We had a video store. I just went down a rabbit hole to find the video store. The name it was in Maryland. Oh my gosh, I can't remember it, but obviously you don't respect these kinds of things when you're 5 years old. But
Yeah.
I somehow discovered, went down a rabbit hole to discover local video stores in Potomac, Maryland, where I grew up in real formative years, and found the place, and it was apparently had a huge cult movie genre section.
Cool.
And it was where I saw I don't know, the outline of Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, or The Machine That Turned Him Into It, and Freddy Krueger and Darkman and such. And I was just, I don't know, that was the dream place. But we were definitely a movie house, and my sister Rachel was the one to. She was my gateway for everything. She's 9 years my senior. I have a brother and a sister, but Rachel was the one who would invite me into a room, and she's like, Freddy's Nightmares is on. There was a Nightmare on Elm Street TV show.
Oh, sick.
And we would watch that, or there'd always be a Friday the 13th on cable, like 3 in the afternoon in Potomac, Maryland. Like it was just back then it was like, yeah, kids can be traumatized. It was great.
Yeah, no one cares.
But also we would watch Pretty Woman. And
Cute.
so I remember like the rom-coms of that era. I remember a lot of genre stuff. I remember watching like Alien with my family and also like somehow convincing my mom to get RoboCop. And she was like, that gentleman just got his arm blown off. I think we might want to pop that out. So yes, we were. And there were many.
The idea of like your older sister with like a small age gap showing you films makes me think of, have you ever seen Almost Famous?
Oh yeah,
And
she was my Kate Hudson for sure. Oh
no, Zooey
that'd be
Deschanel.
romantic. She was my Zoe. I'm sorry, I take it back.
Yeah, like Zooey Deschanel, like showing the vinyl to her younger brother.
She totally was. She was like really shepherding like real culture. And then later, I don't know, it was so moving. Like when I was gifted like my first video camera, she'd watch all my, I don't know, whatever, self-made music videos of dancing to Macho Man and stuff.
Sick.
Yeah, she was great.
So you started in the world of film, but as a comedian first, like doing sketch comedy. Was that your kind of intro to the entertainment world?
It totally was. Yeah, technically the intro was theater. I was like a theater kid in Woodstock, New York, and then I moved to the city and had reunited with my buddy Sam Reich, who's now the guy behind like Dropout TV, that is basically what College Humor became.
Yeah.
But we banded together this little group of sketch comedians and started doing, internet videos like very, very early, like before Flash. Like we would just like put QuickTime videos, very inappropriate comedy up on the internet. And then that turned into like, a career making comedy videos for many, many years in New York.
Interesting. And then that like bled into acting, and then now you're at directing, essentially, right?
It was all kind of one thing. It was many years of like sketches about boobs and beer and video games. And then
that's what's up.
Yes, it was just like X-Men, like Xbox girls, like tell off like this troll or whatever. And then that turned into like a little bit of a commercial career, and I followed the money for a little bit and hated it. And then my revelation kind of came when I lost my voice creatively, and was just like, I want to do like some Duplassian thing and make something for literally nothing. And I made that thing. It was a little tiny movie called Scare Me with my buddy Aya Cash, and that became that went to
in
Sundance
2020, right?
That in 2020, perfect
I got my
timing.
facts written down.
Yeah.
Were there films specifically that you could reference that made you want to get into filmmaking that kind of describe your taste?
Oh, totally. I mean, I feel like everything from Stephen King's Cat's Eye with Drew Barrymore battling a troll with her cat in the bedroom to like An American Tail, like the best epic about a mouse. And Jaws, that was also big. I mean, pretty common for a 41-year-old Caucasian male filmmaker to be like, oh, you gotta watch the shark movie.
Have you seen Jaws?
Oh my God, have you seen it? Like, okay, so what Quint stands for. But I don't know, it was a whole bunch of films. I mean, I grew up in the era when Weekend at Bernie's was this quote unquote like as big a movie as like the schlockiest horror on TV. I was just kind of taken by all of it. So I don't know, I'm a product of the 80s for sure, but I appreciated everything so long as it wasn't, just two people sitting still for
How
too
would you
long.
just describe your style?
My style as a filmmaker? That's a great question. I've never thought about that.
That's funny because all I do is think about myself. But I'm very like these are the questions I constantly ask myself just in general of like descriptors of myself. So that's interesting that you haven't done that.
I mean, my style, I don't know. I feel like I'm very moved by, I'm very gut and instinctual these days now that I know technically what I'm doing, like with the camera. It's a little bit like Raimi and Spielberg had a baby, I guess. I'm like, I always want to be kind of low angle and kind of constantly, potentially, not constantly moving the camera, but intentional movements.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just like not wanting to like a fast, tight, stylish, and irreverent. I don't know. That's always what I end up doing anyway.
Yeah.
But I try to bite ever so often just to be like a little acerbic. I like to be a little nasty too, you know.
Outside of filmmakers that are kind of in line with your style, in general, what kind of, or which filmmakers do you typically like to keep an eye out for?
I love Karan Kusama, but I'm in no way like Karan Kusama. I'm probably more like a Joe Dante wannabe. But I love what Taika Waititi does and Lee Winnell does and Karan. And everything these days out of like neon, I'm very fascinated about these like by these brands. I'm like, oh my, they're taking swings over at A24 and they're hiring like Io Debris to play kind of dramatic role. I'm just like, fuck yeah. I like as much of the unexpected as I can bring into something masked as commercial is great, especially with actors. Like if I can give someone the opportunity to do something they haven't done before, that's the dream. I feel like the, commercial example of that is like Tarantino or even Chris Nolan being like, hell yeah, Rutger Hauer and Matthew Modine, like come do something, come do something we haven't seen you do in a little while. Or I don't know. I did it in my last film with like Sam Richardson. I'm like, yeah, you're going to come play the hero because you have a Tom Hanks vulnerability.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wait, your reference of AO, I'm blanking. Do you remember what's the name of the movie that the trailer just dropped?
Opus?
What was it?
Opus?
Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It's so sick. Oh, I was gonna say this. So you said you did like sketch comedy and acting and directing, writing, but you're also familiar with the podcast world.
Yeah.
Because you directed the Funny or Dies podcast on Spotify, The Last Degree of Kevin Bacon.
I sure did. Oh
which
my
is
God.
such a funny concept. Can you talk about it?
Yes, it was an incredible concept. It was, I believe the creator's name is Dan Abramson, and it was Kevin Bacon stalked by a guy who I believe had lost out to the Footloose audition, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
Played by Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
And it was this murderer's row. It was a narrative podcast. It was just 1 week of recording. We're in a room about this size, like a super tiny room, like recording studio. And it's just this like murderer's row of people coming in, as Kevin Bacon's playing himself, dealing with this stalker who ingrains himself in his life, masquerading as a friend, only to reveal to be the guy who was like out to kill him for, essentially ruining his life. And Lamorne Morris and Kira Sedgwick and Rob Reiner and Terry Gross and Michaela Watkins. It was the first time I'd worked with her and, fell in love with her basically as a performer. And then I got to just like rope in my homies too, like a lot of buddies I've been working with for a long time. Yeah. It was just, I don't know. It was great. I love a narrative podcast because I'm a sound design freak.
Yeah. What is a film that comes to mind that you wish you could watch again for the first time?
Oh, man. For the first time, Todd Field's Little Children.
Yeah? And why does that come to mind?
Because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's so dark and so esoteric. It's such an art film. It's basically about like a yearning for wanting more than what you have, like not quite appreciating what you have in your life. And it's on its face, it's sort of about infidelity, but I think it's about more so the aforementioned. But the way that Todd Field did it was it had this very ethereal quality, and it reminded me of like the suburb I grew up in, but it kicked it up a farcical kind of ethereal notch. And I just remember watching it in the theater. It totally tanked, even though Jackie O'Haley had an Academy Award nom for it. It was so transportive.
Dichotomy, to get Oscar nominated for a film that didn't do well.
Yeah, and he was pretty much playing like a pedophile.
Okay.
In it. He had a scene with Jane Addams where he was like,
I don't think I've seen this movie.
It's Kate Winslet, Patrick Wilson.
Cool, I'm gonna add it to
Jackie
the list.
O'Haley. Oh my God, Todd Field, who did Tar, and it's just
Tar's incredible.
If you like Tar, you like Little Children.
Cool.
I think Jennifer Connelly. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Cool.
It's dreamy. Yeah.
I love Getting a Wreck.
I don't know why I like it so much, but it's darkly funny and beautifully shot.
Sweet.
With incredible performances, and it's just the time just flies by. It's just shot very well. It's kind of reminiscent of like Alexander Payne's Election. It reminds me.
I love that movie. I watched that in a film class.
Yes, it's not quite the same.
I like the poster for that movie too.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my God, the cupcake.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, isn't the text in her mouth in the poster?
Yes, maybe that's why I'm conflating cupcakes. I'm like, she makes cupcakes. They
I'm
say
pretty
pig
sure.
flick.
I could be I'm actually gonna look it up now.
We have to. We must. I need to know.
Oh yeah, no, the word isn't in
Pig
her
flick.
mouth, but his head is.
Oh yes.
I just knew there was something related to the mouth. Now I'm thinking, what is the last movie you watched in theaters and streaming?
Ooh, streaming was Juror number 2.
Oh, what do you think?
I kind of checked out a little bit.
Yeah.
I checked out a little bit. I love J.K. Simmons. I've worked with him, and I was like I was very tuned in him. I like the concept a lot, but I wasn't quite there for it. In theaters, the last thing I saw was Wolfman. I love how it looked. It didn't quite land for me, but it was just like, love a wolf fight if I'm not giving too much away. And I love Lee Winnell, and I'll watch everything he does because he's another filmmaker who was an actor who's super funny, who seems like a good dude who loves the genre, and I'm like, oh, I could do that.
Cool.
But yeah.
I am trying to think. My last theater watch was The Room Next Door, starring Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton.
Ooh, how was that?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It was good. I think it was slow, but intentionally slow, and it felt like a play. And I also used to do musical theater, and so in theater, so I like stuff like that. It was very talk heavy.
Did you like May December?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what you were saying about the film a minute ago of how like you don't know exactly why you like it, but you do. I left the theater being like, yeah, like that was enjoyable. It left me with a lot of questions, like. Because essentially the gist of it is like, well, I guess maybe I don't want to give too much away. It's just like a moral conundrum. And I like movies that you chat after about it. Like, would you do that type of thing?
Did you see Complete Unknown?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm sorry, I haven't.
Okay. That one really surprised me. I was like, oh no, a biopic. But I was like, oh, this really... And,
pretty good.
And Melissa Barbara was great.
I like that... I don't think it's happened yet that Timothée Chalamet is going to be the guest and the musical guest for SNL. Did you see that?
Is he singing Dylan?
Yeah, like I think he's supposed to be like Dylan, and so he's doing both.
Oh, that's so cute.
It must be like this week or something.
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah.
Wait, I was gonna say something about The Room Next Door.
Oh, yeah, and you were also gonna say something about streaming. So that was the one you saw in the movies.
Oh yes, well streaming. I guess technically your movie, but it wasn't like streaming. It was like a link.
The last one you saw in theaters, quote unquote, was Hard Eyes because people will be listening to this after February 7th-ish maybe.
Yeah.
In the future.
And then I guess streaming. Shit. I have no idea.
Yeah, because the Pedro of the Almodovar film is in theaters.
Yeah.
Or is it, yeah.
I can't think of my streaming movie. It's going to take me too long.
I mean, what was the last thing you do remember seeing streaming? Even if it's like Baby Reindeer. You could have seen that last night.
Well, that's TV. Well, like I've been watching Severance. Like that is like
isn't it all the same thing now, unfortunately?
Yeah. Well, Severance I'm very excited about, and I can go on and on.
How do you feel about season 2 so far?
I really liked it. I was really confused, and I had to watch a lot of recap YouTube videos.
I felt the same way. I was like, and there's a little girl now? Like, yeah.
All the comments made me feel dumb. Everyone in the comments had the exact same thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll tell you like off mic, and I was like, that didn't cross my mind.
Interesting.
But I love the theories.
Yes,
you know?
I need to dig into that.
Oh, what's a film that you think got a lot of undeserved hate? So you're a stan for this film. I'm trying to think of my answer. I don't even know.
I don't know. I do feel like Wolfman's getting a lot of flack, and it's unfortunate because I see where the sort of pitfalls are, but I also am like, this dude has not lost his craft, like at all. This is impeccable craftsmanship, and so it bums me out, especially when I like see myself for what it's worth in the potential of my career, like in that person's shoes. I'm like, oh man. But I don't know. I think I really value it. On the flip side, when they all piled on The Thing when it came out, and then it became a classic, it's like that's a film that had undeserved hate. But of course, nobody hates it now. Yeah, that's what came to mind.
What's a genre you don't usually gravitate towards?
I don't gravitate towards Westerns, and I probably should.
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk lured me in, but probably because it had a bunch of like superhuman natives who were scalping people with like bone weapons.
Insane.
Yeah, and like an immense gore. So I should get into the old ones for sure.
Yeah, that's like definitely one of those things where I'm like, I should have done that by now, and I haven't, and like maybe one day. I like it when bars play westerns. I think it's a good
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
kind of sad.
Or like Repo Man. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
probably cool. But you know
Yeah.
what? But would I watch it by myself? I watched Onibaba, like that with like Japanese, you know. I'm,
Yeah,
like,
we
dipping
know
into, like,
Onibaba.
yeah, exactly. Dipping into some like Japanese black and white cinema, which everybody's just like, you got to see Seven Samurai. And I'm like, is that like Weekend at Bernie's? I'm a terrible cinephile, which is amazing that I'm
funny.
here. But
Now, like being like having the show produced by the synagogue and my pal over here, I'm like very in tune of like what the film people like and what they don't like, just because all the comments
Yeah.
and also the merch that the synagogue throws out. It's so funny, like what lands and what doesn't. And I mean, I most often agree. Like we did a screening for Onibaba and people were pretty into that, I feel
yeah, oh my God, Onibaba rips.
like. Yeah, at Vidiots we do screenings.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah.
God, I got to go to one. Yeah, Jennifer Kent, I interviewed her at the DGA when she was doing the rounds for Babadook, and she was like, you have to see Onibaba and Koroneko.
Oh,
And I was
cool.
like, oh, okay. She's like, yeah, it's like a poem. It inspired me to do, oh gosh, what was her follow up to the Babadook?
I don't know.
Nightingale.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And I just hear Nightingale is like super vicious, and I was like, ooh, I don't know if I have the courage to check it out, but maybe I will someday.
That's funny that you would say that you don't have the courage because you're kind of in that genre a bit.
I think I'm more of a Raimi Dante type than I am an Eli Roth.
Yeah.
Jennifer Kent Nightingale. I've got a pretty weak stomach for people getting truly terrorized.
Yeah.
I think The Shining is like right there on the line for me, where I'm like, this is fucking incredible, but it's almost too much. So I can't, I don't think I'll ever be able to watch like what's that movie, Serbian Story or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be able to do the real intense stuff. Like
Yeah.
when I hear people are like, you got to see Red Rooms, I'm like, oh God, is it too much? And like, no, it all happens off camera. But even then,
It's a little
speak
too-
no evil too. So it's like, oh God, like right on the verge for me. Like kids getting hurt and like people just like holding on somebody being like totally terrorized. I can't.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, my last question of my Get to Know You segment. What film that is coming up in 2025, either it's come out and you just haven't seen it yet, or going to come out in 2025, are you most excited to see?
Ooh. I mean, Opus is up there. I think Io Debris a genius. And
Was that the trailer like just dropped or something? Was that the
Yes.
first trailer? I just feel
Yes.
like I was just watching something about it.
Yes, it was. And
Yeah, she's so cool.
anything that anything that any actor, especially a comedian, does where they can stretch dramatically is always fascinating, and it's almost always good, because I think there was like a great Guillermo del Toro quote that I'm going to bastardize. That he was basically saying that a comedic actor in a dramatic role is operating at 100%, so they're already at their comedic max, because that's kind of in their bones, but they're also reacting dramatically. They're also applying themselves dramatically. And so then you have by default kind of this really interesting expression.
Yeah.
Like watching Adam Sandler do, a Safdie Brothers movie. It's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, he's so funny, but there's this vulnerability. So you're like I used to watch like John Leguizamo and Robin Williams are like some of my heroes, because they would do one-man shows and they'd be so funny, but then they'd play villains, or they'd play these incredible dramatic parts. And I love seeing comedians go kind of dramatic. And so I love the idea that Io is going to have that same career. Yeah, I'd love to work with her.
That's sick. That's a good thought. I'm like now curious to watch films with that lens, knowing actors in the comedy world switching over.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna get into your film Hard Eyes.
Oh my God.
So I have a little description of it here we snagged from online. For the past several years, the Hard Eyes Killer has wreaked havoc on Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe. What is the release date for this movie?
February 7th.
Makes sense.
2025, right before Valentine's Day, competing exactly with Ki-Hai Kwan's Love Hurts. Yeah, I'm nervous because I feel like I'm in the company of like the coolest people in LA. So I'm just feel like I could get beat up on the bus.
No.
Did you think it was a horrendous disaster, or did you think it was like, no, it's very cool? Were you like, this is cool, or was this like?
I just like lost my place. No, I'm not here to critique your movie.
No, I need to, but for me to sleep tonight, I need to know the cool people.
I had a really fun time, and I laughed a lot.
Okay, good.
Like, I think, and also I really liked the casting for the main two actors.
Yeah, Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt are amazing.
Yeah, Olivia Holt, Mason Gooding. I recognized Mason from Booksmart and from the movie Y2K.
Yeah.
Did you see Y2K?
I did not. No, I didn't know he was even in it. He's so busy.
I'm pretty sure he was. I'm pretty sure he was
He's
in it.
Yeah.
But Y2K is funny. Not to go talk about a different movie.
No,
right
please. Another comedian director.
It is. It's. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know it was going to be, like, gory. I don't think I haven't watched the trailer for that movie. So that when I was in the theater, I was, like, laughing out loud because it was so, like, dumb, but, like, on purpose. Like, so I like that kind of humor. Anyways, that was a good movie.
And Fred Durst, apparently. Yeah.
Yeah. That, like, made me laugh so hard. Well, first thing, this comes from the producers of Scream, which I thought was cool, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, that kind of gave me, like, insight to the tone of the film, too.
Yeah, a little funny, a little nasty, a little gory. Exactly.
It was pretty gory.
Yeah.
And that's why a second ago when you were talking about, like, not watching certain things, I'm like, I'm surprised because this movie was, like, pretty gory.
Yeah,
but
yeah. It's pretty gory, but it's not, like, holding on someone being in, like dramatically giving their guttural all.
Yeah.
It's not like Moments in The Brutalist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's pretty, all right. That's intense.
I also liked the music in it. Like and speaking of sound design, I don't know the term for this, but like how music or the whatever's playing will kind of like almost pause for a second when a joke hits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The old dropout.
Yeah, I love that. I guess I'd never noticed it before in a film, and so this movie I noticed it and I was like, that's such a smart way to make you realize like, oh, it's time to laugh right now.
Oh my god, sound design is everything, both comedically and for the scares of it all, and to musically to like stop something on like a record scratching dime.
Yeah, it's
great
fun.
Comedically, but also great for the heart. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's so much manipulation you can do.
And then question, so because like recently I've had people come on who are writer directors. You didn't write this.
No, I didn't write this. I did. You do inevitably when you direct something, you give it your own kind of your stink, your pass, and it's constantly changing. So there were some like on-set rewrites and stuff, but no, there were three writers. There was an original writer, Philip Murphy, and then Michael Kennedy and Chris Landon. They did their like big pass to kind of put their stink on it before I took it and basically homage to Jason Lives. Yeah.
So okay. Well, I have so many questions, but like when you first read the script, like what made you think like this is a project I want to be a part of?
I didn't. I actually read the first 5 pages and I was like, okay, it's too funny. I want to do,
really?
While it was gory and while there were kills, I was pretty anxious because I'd just done a film that ended up being a lot funnier and a lot kind of brighter than I wanted it to be. Werewolves Within it's just like a very kind of spritzy comedy. With kind of intense sort of violent moments, but my intention with that one was to make it like A Simple Plan or like Fargo, with that type of violence, still with the irreverence, but that's the Coens are kind of my sort of tonal ideal. And with this one I read it, I was like, oh man, they're being so funny, they're being so irreverent. And my wife read the entirety of the script and was like, I think you should read this again. And Michael Kennedy, who's one of the writers, when I told him, I'm so sorry, I don't think I want to do a comedy right now, he goes, no, read it again, bitch.
Yeah.
And I read it again. I was like, okay, no, I actually think I could bring something to it. But what you have to do when you pitch on a film as a director, if you want to bring your own kind of you have to bring your own thing to it. And I thought, well, this could be an opportunity to do essentially like a really nasty Wes Craven super villain movie while also paying homage to everything I loved about Nora Ephron.
Yeah, I was
Penny
curious,
Marshall.
like Nora Ephron would be like your writing reference, you mean?
Writing and directing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
films, did you have any specific homages in this movie?
I'm sure there were, like, visually, I definitely homaged, this is obscure, but Big, the Tom Hanks movie, which is
we
a
talked about it on
rom-com.
the podcast one time, and I realized I hadn't seen it.
Oh my God. Have you seen it since?
No, do you guys remember that?
Oh my gosh, it's so
I had like multiple friends text me after and be like, "You haven't seen Big?"
Penny Marshall. Oh my goodness.
I like when people like.
Well, it is a rom-com in its own right, because even though this kid becomes an adult for the large swath of this movie, he goes on a date or goes to a party where he's, he dresses up and is sort of flirting with his love interest, and there are these gorgeous pink windows, and so the restaurant scene is very much visually an homage to Big. I think overall, like spiritually, I just wanted for the actors to never wink and to take the rom-com of it as seriously as possible.
Yeah, that's it. I got that. Even the speech towards the end, which I'm not going to give anything away, but like what's the main girl's name in the film?
Oh, Allie, Olivia Holt.
Yeah,
who plays
Allie.
Allie,
Like
yeah.
she is talking to the villain, and her whole like speech monologue that she gives. I was like, oh, I really like that she's not like not breaking character, but she's taking herself so seriously. I liked that.
Yeah, one of my like North Star mottos for filming is, especially in like blending genres, is don't get caught trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And play the terror for real. And so if a great comedic actor can play the terror for real and not get caught trying to be funny, that's what makes them a great comedic actor, really just a great actor anyway. But if there's a comedic circumstance, or a ridiculous circumstance, an extraordinary circumstance, it only makes it that much more of a fun ride to watch and enjoy. And that was what was great about the two leads, is they're not comedians in their own right. They have great senses of humor, but they are like actors.
Yeah.
Like Olivia and Mason are very much actors, and everybody around them is kind of like the kooky cast in a way that would be in like, the Rob Reiner film of it all. But that I think is the real success of this if there is a franchise, is I would want to treat all of the relationships as real as like Ephron or Reiner or Marshall ever did.
Yeah.
While flooring it on the horror.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I like that. Exactly how you just described it is how I like took it. So that's
cool.
That's good. Is a slasher film something you've always wanted to be a part of?
I think it is. The slashers I grew up watching were all things Jason and Freddy. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like Guy with a Knife movies. It was always something that was a little more supernatural, and that's why I wanted to give Hard Eyes a little bit more of like a Jason Voorhees sort of an energy, almost like a slightly supernatural. He doesn't run. He walks.
Yeah.
Kind of an imposition.
Cool. To you, what would be a satisfying audience reaction to this film?
I would love people to go, holy shit, not only did it fly by, but I laughed and I screamed, and I want to go back and bring all my buddies. I want this to be the movie that like you want to bring all your homies to, and you want to just forget about everything shitty happening in the world. That's the dream. The dream is, and then when it comes out on video or it comes out on streaming, is for you to be able to pop it on the way that I pop on like Ghostbusters or Gremlins or Defending Your Life and Pretty Woman, and you can put it on the background, or you can drop in at any point during the movie, and you can just like, oh, what an escape, what a good time, what a good vibe, and what a ride.
Fun.
That's the ideal.
That's great. Oh, that question that I just asked you made me think about something I was going to say earlier. Was when I watched The Room Next Door in theaters, the movie ended, and the woman in front of me yelled, "That's it!" And I thought that was so funny. Like she was like so.
I don't even know what this movie is. And isn't it nominated too? The Room. Oh no, wait. This is Julian. This is the Pedro
Julian.
one.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay, there's a movie that's nominated that also.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay.
But I just liked how she was so upset when it ended, and That's like kind of like the worst case
that's
scenario
so
to like
funny.
yell at the end of a movie.
Oh my god! I think I'm thinking of "I'm Still Here." Maybe that's another. Maybe that's something else.
I'm
I have
still
no
here.
idea.
That's
Is that new or is that the one that's like the other Bob Dylan movie? I don't know. My
that's
wires
making
are
me think of what's that
crossed.
Joaquin Phoenix movie? I'm
Walk the Line.
no. Wait, there's
Oh yeah, the documentary.
Yeah.
The Casey Affleck.
Isn't that called? Yeah, there's like a lot of controversy.
Conspiracy. Yeah, exactly.
I'm still here. Is that what that's called? I don't know. Whatever.
I'm not bad. It should be called I'm Not Bad.
Oh, what was the decision for shooting in New Zealand?
Taxes.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, it was a bummer because, we're obviously hurting here in California and we're hurting more now. There's been like the fire disaster of it all. So we have to be shooting as much in California as we can. I do commercials in LA, which has been awesome. But beyond the tax incentive of it all, we were about to have an IATSE strike, and so it was too much of a risk for backing into the date of Valentine's Day, of releasing a film on Valentine's Day, for us to wait for the strike to resolve when the threat was looming. So there was a lot of anxiety around whether or not IATSE was going to strike. So it was a bummer because I'd interviewed production designers and department heads to come with me because you could pick one or two to go with you, and we were in talks with folks, and eventually they were just like, nope, you got to do it entirely overseas. But the great thing is we got to do post stateside, which is awesome. I had my team entirely at Stargate here in Los Angeles was great. Whole editorial team and post team, and my composer, my music supervisor, Rob Lowry. It was great. So we got to do a lot here, but yeah, we mostly did there because like the bang for your buck that you get on this budget was really spectacular. Certainly the biggest thing I've ever done before.
Fun.
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's really cool. I really loved the look of the villain, like that mask. Did you get to have
Tony
any say
Gardner,
in that?
man. He's the designer. Tony Gardner and Brian Christensen at Alterian. Tony Gardner is like a legend in his own right. He worked on everything from like Darkman and Hocus Pocus to Chucky.
Wow.
And we started with him, and I just like gave him some kind of boundaries, and we ended up on this like kind of aged lizard like light up eye thing. And it works.
Yeah.
It's kind of hit. People are like, whoa, okay, I think this might actually
It's really
fit.
eye-catching. That was not supposed to be punny, but eye-catching.
Yeah, eye-catching. Hard eye-catching.
If you were to describe your film to someone in 5 adjectives, what would you pick?
Ooh, funny, gory, sweet, nasty, and fast.
Cool. I
And
like that.
cool.
What
That's
was
a
it?
6.
Do you say cute?
Funny, gory, sweet,
Sweet.
nasty, fast?
Yeah, sweet. I think that's true because there are sweet moments in it.
Totally.
Yeah. Final question pertaining to the film Hard Eyes. If you were to recommend someone do a double feature and watch something either before or after, what would you pair it with?
Oh, man. Ooh. I feel like a good one would be, obviously My Bloody Valentine, the original, and Hard Eyes, but I think, oh gosh, Sleepless in Seattle? Sleepless in Seattle and Hard Eyes, because it's the same blue moonlight. You know what I mean? It's the same
really
blue
like
moon,
that.
the same color palette. Come on, y'all.
Yeah,
Come on.
totally the same
Or
movie.
Big, go for it. Or Big and Hard Eyes, and then you could just put it together. Big Hard
That's
Eyes.
so funny.
That's the sequel name.
Big Hard Eyes.
Big Hard Eyes. He's just twice the size.
That makes me think of there was like a meme going on. I posted it when I do like a Twitter wrap up of like funny meme tweets related to films once a week. And there was one going around of movie theater, and it was playing Wicked and then Queer, and so everyone was like, your uncle from Boston calling
Wicked Queer.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay. This next game we're playing is Fuck, Marry, or Have Hard Eyes Kill.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to say
yes.
3 movies, and you have to, assign those. And there's a few. So first, we're going to do Gone Girl, Possession, and Black Swan.
I think Hard Eyes should kill Possession because, like, it might be sort of erotic in its own right, but the alien thing at the end is just like, no, kill all that shit. kill all that shit. I would fuck. What were the other 2? Black Swan and
Gone Girl.
I'd probably fuck Black Swan because she's not gonna kill me during nothing and end up in all my blood. And then I guess I'd marry Carl because,
kind of
I
ironic.
guess it kind of works out,
Yeah.
on camera.
That's ironic because that movie is a beautiful story of marriage.
Yeah, exactly. And Black Swans, it's nasty. It's sexy, but
Okay, next we have Old Boy, Seven, and Shutter Island.
wow. I guess I would marry Old Boy because that's a classic. I'd probably have Hard Eyes kill Shutter Island because there's way too many nasty, nasty folks on that island.
Yeah,
want to
Shutter
kill
Island
me.
would be terrifying.
Yes. And then I would marry.
No, you'd fuck Seven.
I'm sorry. And then I'd fuck Seven and have my dick chomped off by some like mouse trap that taught me about the Bible or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, next I had The Love Witch, Practical Magic, and The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh my God! Definitely F the W's of E. Because they're
W's
great.
of E. I watched that for the first time this year.
What
And I
did
was
you
like,
think?
loved.
You're the youth.
I-
They're fun. It's just
perfect.
the fucking
I was like
best.
kind of pissed I'd never seen it. But, well, now it's going to be like a yearly movie for me.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
it's
loved
phenomenal. Oh my God, Jack Nicholson is just unhinged.
Yeah.
The three of them. Yeah, I would definitely fuck all those witches. Fuck all those witches. Sorry, Jack. I'd probably kill the Love Witch because I want to kill things I don't understand. Because I'm a 41-year-old male in America, and that means that I would. Does that leave Mary?
Yeah, marry Practical Magic.
I would marry Practical Magic. That's
Yeah.
like a very put together.
And it's like kind of wholesome. It's
yeah,
like
very put together, very wholesome
Yeah.
tale.
I like that.
Yeah.
You should see The Love Witch. I just also watched it this year for the first time, and it's like super low budget, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like super low budget, and it's confusing because they made it look like it's film and old school, but it's present day. Like there's present day cars in it, and it's this
Interesting.
like woman who is a witch, and she kind of like kills men. I might.
Is it from the
butchering?
70s?
No, it's like a current movie,
It is?
but it looks aesthetically
Oh, I
really
think-
old school.
Is it like a Shudder movie?
No, it's 2016. It's an indie movie.
It's an indie movie, and
Huh.
it's just like really aesthetically beautiful.
Oh, cool.
You should check it out.
Oh, I will.
It's streaming. I definitely
I'd have
watched
Hard
it or
Eyes kill
something.
it, though. But I will check it out.
I have 3 more like
Yeah, sets.
categories. Okay, The Handmaiden. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Bones and All and Warm Bodies.
Ooh, I'd probably marry Warm Bodies. I'd have Hard Eyes kill Bones and All. Right?
Yeah.
And then I'd F the Handmaiden. I'd probably F the Handmaiden.
That answer made sense to me, and I
Does
would
that
say all
make
the same
sense?
things.
Does
yeah.
that feel like it?
That was
does it make
exactly
me
what I would say.
disgusting or
Okay,
incorrigible?
next we have Hereditary,
Oh hell yeah!
Fresh,
Oh hell yeah!
and Teeth.
Oh hell yeah! Okay, probably. Oh man, I'd probably have Hard Eyes. I'd probably have Hard Eyes kill Teeth. Sorry, Jess.
Okay.
I'd probably marry Toni Collette's sort of witchery so that she, I don't know, maybe I could just stretch a little bit because we
Yeah.
all need a little color in our lives. Kill, marry, and then that means that I would F. What's the
Fresh.
last one? Oh yeah, I'd totally F Fresh. Totally F Fresh.
Okay, and my last
Hell yeah, Mimi Cave.
my last set is Death Becomes Her,
Marry.
Jennifer's Body,
Easy.
and Pearl.
Mary, Death Becomes Her, F Jennifer's Body, kill Pearl. Definitely.
Oh, kill Pearl.
yeah.
So sad. I love
Sorry.
Pearl.
Well, Hard Eyes would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
And she'd probably put up a fight. She'd probably shoot him in the leg with a
Yeah.
shotgun, and then he'd
Yeah.
have one leg and he'd be
Totally.
crawling.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome fight.
It'd
Wow.
be-
Pearl versus Hard Eyes would be incredible.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, okay, so my last segment is dedicated to the slasher film. So I guess we kind of already talked a bit about this, but do you have some slasher films that are favorites of yours?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6.
Okay.
That is like my North Star Hard Eyes comp.
Cool.
In a way, that was like what I was chasing because it's as brutal as it is silly as it is just fun. Scream is kind of a no-brainer. That changed it all. Like Scream 1, the OG Wes Craven. Love, love, love. And then I don't know if I had to round it off with a third just because. You know what I loved? John Hyams's Sick.
No, wait, I'm
It's
gonna
on
look it up right now.
Peacock. It came out during COVID. This is Jane Addams, an incredible two actresses whose names escape me. Mark Menchaca from Ozark?
Wait, Sick 2022 John Hames?
John Hyams, I believe, yes.
The cast is Gideon Adlon.
Yes.
Bethlehem Million. Were you trying to come up with an actor's name?
Yeah, those two, and then Jane Addams and Mark, I believe.
Mark Menchaca.
Menchaca, yeah. That Sick is one of the best. It's Kevin Williamson. Kevin Williamson wrote it and produced
Mark
it.
Menchaca is in Companion.
No shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love him. He was great in The Outsider. So scary.
Okay, I'm gonna save this and watch it.
Sick is one of my favorite slashers. I saw it at Beyond Fest. One of my favorite slashers of all time. I'm gonna go all out and say it. There's homages to Friday the 13th. It's funny. It takes place during COVID, which you'd think would be kind of like a downer, but it's so funny.
Cool.
And it's just like two girls like going to a lake house, like kind of over it and like not being, with it with their masks.
Yeah.
And I think it's phenomenal and just it's such a lesson in great lean filmmaking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I will give it a
Highly
watch.
recommended.
Are there any tropes from the genre, the slasher film genre, that you incorporated in your film? Like you were like, I have to have these tropes in here.
I needed a creepy phone call. There's a creepy phone call moment. Like you got to have a creepy voice, creepy phone call. You got to have a head cock. Your slasher's got to do like Michael Myers. There's always going to be one of those. And there's definitely, unfortunately, there's like the trip and fall. Like Olivia's character, Allie, is nay clumsy whatsoever, but she does like fall right before she gets a machete, like, potentially chop down on her. You'll have to see the movie to find out. I don't know. I always think it's so funny when people are like clumsy on the way to being chopped to pieces.
Yeah.
Like, well, you got to do that if those count.
How do you think Hard Eyes, the killer, would hold up against iconic killers like Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface?
I think he'd whoop Leatherface's ass. I think Jason wouldn't stand a chance. And Ghostface, it'd probably be... No, Ghostface wouldn't stand a chance. Yeah, honestly. Ghostface is going to be too wrapped up in being like quite theatrical and stealthy, and Hard Eyes just like throwing knife, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you got too many tools. But I don't know, maybe he's weighed down. Also, like Ghostface falls a lot. Ghostface is, Hard Eyes has got a pretty good gait. Like Hard Eyes is like very balanced. Definitely does some yoga, some jujitsu. Very, very fit,
And my final question for this segment is, what about this genre do you think people find fascinating? Like, why do we love watching killers?
I think we love watching people like us, or quote unquote normal people, normal characters, escape the impossible or survive the impossible, because the world is constantly horrendous for any which reason. Hard Eyes, Jason, Leatherface, they can be a symbol or a metaphor of any number of things, of anything from your taxes to a car accident to like the inevitable day we're gonna pass and that like inevitable thing catching up to you. So I love that comparison that we love. And I heard this phrase before, so I'm not coming to some like phenomenal revelation in the room, though I'll happily take credit. But I think we love to watch films like this because not only are they a ride, especially the more fun horrors, but we do love watching people like us survive ridiculous situations and come out triumphant. Like, Samara Weaving putting that cigarette in her mouth at the end of Ready or Not is one of the best parts really of that movie, like covered in blood, exhausted at the end of the night, like over it after dealing with these like ridiculous psychopaths, is kind of like a heightened, metaphor for how we deal with like our families and in-laws and such. I think that's why they have such a long life and they're sort of sustaining, because we're human beings. We have fears, anxieties, nightmares, and they're manifested through all manner of terrifying beings, and we get to like enjoy the ride again and again and again.
That's a cool answer. My mind wouldn't have gone there, and I like that a lot.
I think that's kind of it.
I like
it's
that.
Just, we like an endorphin buzz. It's like no money fun, just pop in the DVD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To end the episode today, if you were to shout out either like a filmmaker or a film or an actor, something that you feel like the listener should really be like in the know, what comes to mind?
I think if you don't know who Devon Sawa is, you should watch his entire filmography. The dude is in my movie. People love him. He popped up in Hacks.
Hacks is so good.
Oh my God, as like a handsome sweetie. He was the legend who brought Casper to life and Final Destination and Idle Hands, but he's also, multiple characters in the Chucky series, and people just phenomenal getting to know Devon because he's so down to earth considering he was a child actor who grew up with like insane success, had some tough times, and is just making this insane comeback. And he's beloved, and he's just like a great human being. So just by nature of the fact that he's incredibly talented and an incredible dude, he'd be my
Your shout.
He'd be my shout today.
Cool. Well, I had fun chatting with you. To wrap up the episode, definitely go check out Hard Eyes on February 7th in theaters. Anything else you have to plug here?
That's it. I think I'm going to retire. I think after Hard Eyes, I'm done. I think I'm done.
Done.
I'm fucking done, dude.
End on a high.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, it's time to get lost.
Good evening.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. To stay in touch, follow our Instagram page at It's Intermission Time and share with your friends. As always, Intermission is produced by Jazeel Chu and Olivia Dean, and of course, hosted by yours truly, Megan Braun. This episode is brought to you by The Synagogue.